records everything and transcribes everything right to your phone.
We got the otter. Send it to me.
Well,
Well,
PLA.
Hey, hey.
All
right.
Yeah, like you can put it anywhere.
Guys.
Good evening.
Good evening. I know we normally do a mic check and a name check, so everybody got my full name, Clee Atkinson, CleeAtkinson. Thank you guys for coming here today. Today we gather not only to provide updates to this tragic event, it could have been a whole lot worse, that unfolded this past Friday night that led to two teenagers being injured. We also stand united in compassion, hope, and prayer for all those affected. This includes all the attendees at this event. This is a time to come together across faiths, across background, to lift up those who were injured and to support the families and communities that surround them. Also, I just want to briefly say, for all the young people that are still afraid to return back to school, my heart hurts for that. And we're praying for them as well. The seniors that were at this event that wanted to come out and support their grandchildren and their children. We're still praying that they can get back, things can get back to normal. So my heart still hurts from that, okay? On this night, September the 12th, 2025, 2 deputies were scheduled to arrive at 6 p.m. and an additional 8 deputies were scheduled to arrive at 6:30 p.m. There were already people standing inside the stadium when they arrived, which is a safety concern for me as the sheriff. There were 10 deputies working the game, 3 off-duty deputies in the stands watching the game. After the shots were fired, an additional shot was fired, 1 shot was fired, an additional 15 deputies, both on and off duty, responded. There were several off-duty and retired officers from various agencies in attendance as well, and I thank them for their assistance. It does warm my heart that I had deputies in the stands that were trying to enjoy the game. But when I heard about the deputies that responded, they were not called. We had about 6 deputies, including my chief deputy standing to the right, that responded. And that lets me know that, man, we care for our community, whether you're getting paid or not. We care for the safety of our community, and that warms my heart. And I want the citizens of Edgecombe County to know that we will respond whether we're working or not. According to the SouthWest Edgecombe staff, 400 tickets were sold online and 1,800 were sold at the gate. Which you guys do the math, that is a big number. So we've got to work on, part of our recommendations, working on our communication, because we did not know so many tickets were sold. Ticket holders entered the game through a home gate and an away gate. One gate was covered by the evolve system, and the other gate was covered by a functioning metal detector. At first, we were getting so many calls that one of the metal detectors did not work, and we tested the same today, and it did work. So it was functioning, okay? Deputies and school staff were at both gates. At halftime, at approximately 300 people crowded into the lines at the concession stand. As the third quarter began, there were still about 200 to 300 people crowded around the concession stand. SouthWest Edgecombe High School football team drove down for a touchdown, and a cannon was fired, per tradition. So a cannon was fired when they scored a touchdown. So to put the myth away that there were several shots, that was a cannon. Moments later, at 8:33 p.m. during the third quarter, 1 shot was fired near the concession stand. This was within 10 feet of 2 deputies standing in the crowd near the concession stand. Deputies located a 17-year-old male who said he was hit and deputies carried him to the Edgecombe County EMS, who transported him to ECU Health Medical Center. He is in stable condition and was shot 1 time in the back. Deputies called for additional units, secured the crime scene, and evacuated the crowd. 15 more deputies responded at that time. Deputies recovered 1 spent projectile and shell casing in the area of the concession stand. At 9:49 p.m., the UNC Nash Hospital called the Edgecombe County Sheriff's Office and said a 16-year-old female came in to be treated for an apparent gunshot graze wound on the hand from this incident. Pinetops Police Department, Tarboro Police Department, and the Highway Patrol sent units to the scene to assist with traffic control and securing the crime scene. We're grateful for that partnership. Anytime something like that happens, we're grateful that we respond and make sure we continue those partnerships to keep our community safe. Right now, our investigation revealed that there was a small altercation between 2 parties. One drew a firearm and shot. Neither party was affiliated with either team playing. We are suspecting this is some some kind of incident that's occurred in the community, but it had nothing to do with the football rivalry of Tarboro and SouthWest Edgecombe High School. Witnesses gave a good description of the shooter, which was then located on deputies' body cameras. Still shots of the suspect were circulated to deputies who identified him as a 17-year-old juvenile. Detectives worked tirelessly Saturday and Sunday following leads. Detectives have obtained warrants on the 17-year-old suspect and a search warrant for the house. The investigation is still ongoing and more charges are expected in relation to this event. And because this person is a juvenile, we cannot release this information at this moment. This was a targeted assault, and there's no threat to the public or to our schools in Edgecombe County. We will continue to increase our security in our schools this week, just in case, to make people feel like they are safe. And that's what we want. These guys standing to my right and standing to my left, we take it personal what happened at SouthWest Edgecombe High School Friday night. Incidents like this make us review our security protocols for events like this. As we know security flaws, and trust me, there was one because there was a gun that entered our stadium. So we're going to go back and review our security protocol. We'll continue to work with the Edgecombe County Public School System to address and fix these immediately. I met with Dr. Brown, who's our superintendent here in Edgecombe County, and we will meet again this week to review and go over some recommendations for our security protocols. Some of the things we discussed was cameras around the concession stand and around the stadium. We also discussed this open discussion, how do we get better with open gates left open at the top of the hill? Whether school staff and law enforcement need to be manning that area around the hill. We discussed a recommendation of clear bags entering games. We also discussed poor lighting around the bathroom area and around the baseball field area and at the top of the hill. We also discussed and recommended additional deputies at the request of the Edgecombe County Sheriff's Office. We also requested under North Carolina General Statute 14-269.2 that it should be posted that bags are checked and a list of prohibited items signs should be posted at the entrance of these games. We also discussed separate home and away, particularly on rivalry games. And also one of the things that we talked about is just open, good communication. One of the things when I got down to a lot of the facts of what transpired Friday night was we did not know the amount of tickets that were sold, and we weren't expecting such a large crowd, probably one of the largest crowds ever at this rivalry game. We later found out that 400 tickets were sold online and 1,800 sold at the gate. That is a big crowd for our area. So we got to go back to the drawing board and make sure we are all on the same page and make sure communication is first and foremost when it comes to large rivalry games like such. And I'll entertain any questions that you guys have.
Hi, Sarah. I just want to be super clear. There's no suspect in custody at this point.
No suspect is in custody at this point.
Can you give a timeline as to how soon?
My timeline was as of yesterday. I am furious. My heart breaks. And then it poses the question again of a 17, who's raising these children? So I'm furious right now. And we're going to work tirelessly to make sure we bring this young person into custody. Yes.
Sheriff, at this point, have you been able to ascertain what this was all about? What started this altercation? I understand that perhaps someone smacked someone else, slapped someone else. Was it over a girl?
Well, we can confirm that it was some type of slap that initiated everything, but I think it's something stemming from the community as well. We cannot confirm that until we have this young person in custody, but it's definitely something stemming from outside of our rivalry game and something stemming from inside of the community that spilled over to the game.
And about the female, was she directly connected to either the boy who was shot or the shooter?
That I cannot confirm. I want to say she was not just an innocent bystander, but I cannot directly confirm that. But I don't think she was involved in any of that. Mm-hmm. And that's what hurts also, because you got to enjoy a football game. and think you're just gonna watch people score and have a good time, and then you come away with an injury. So my heart hurts. I've had some sleepless 2 nights. My staff has as well. We've been going back and forth, challenging each other, putting our professionalism on the line because we're charged to keep everybody safe. So we've just been battling, trying to make sure we wanted to put out the facts today because we've seen a lot of things on social media that were not true. And so that's why I'm sitting in front of you guys today.
What type of handgun caliber was found, or you said a shell casing was found, and any idea how that got inside the stadium?
I can't say this, Captain, what kind of shell case? 9mm, but I can say this, until we have that shooter in custody, and like I tell a whole lot of people, we will not know with those safety protocols. I mean, the EVOF system, it works. We tested it with Channel 5 years back. Well, last year sometime, it was 90% effective. That we would utilize an older metal detector. It worked. We tested it out just today. So it'll be interesting once we get that young person in custody. How did he get that gun? There was so many different ways. I mean, we ran him away. He could have went in the backside, could have, should have, would have kind of thing. But we need to be able to get this young man into custody to see exactly how did he get inside.
So there are unsecured entrances, gates?
That's part of our concern. There were some unsecured gates. And so part of our conversation with our superintendent later on in the week is how do we get better to make sure those gates are secured? So you're exactly right, sir.
Did the suspect leave with the gun? Has the gun been recovered? And is there any footage from your officers, deputies' body cameras that actually may have captured the video of the actual shooting occurring with the pistol visible? I assume it's a pistol.
I will say this. It's still an investigation, but we have not recovered the gun. Now, I'm going to leave that right there because it's still an investigation. So we do have some great footage.
And is there any other suspect or any other suspects?
I will say this, Mr. West. When you shoot at a football game like that, we're not looking to just have one in custody, if that makes sense. Everybody that's involved, everybody that rode with, everybody that's associated, we want to send a clear message to anybody that tries this at any football game that this will not be tolerated. So moving forward, I don't think we're just going to have one.
Right, because you had a person of interest, and I didn't know what happened to the person of interest that y'all had put out.
The person, I'm glad you asked that. That person of interest, we later found out through investigation that was not the person we was looking for. So I want to clear that up. I'm glad you asked that question, sir.
And are people cooperating?
They are. The citizens of Edgecombe County, they flooded our staff with leads and leads and leads. And I'm telling you, they're just as upset as we are. And that's what we love about our community, regardless of some of the things that we see. Our community, they are not happy right now. I feel there's so many calls just walking my dog Saturday. I couldn't even do certain things with my family because people were so frustrated. They needed to talk to me. So I returned a lot of phone calls because they needed to hear as a sigh of relief from the sheriff who's assigned to protect this great county of Edgecombe. And so my phone never stopped. And I'm thankful for the citizens that poured out their heart to me and gave me some good leads and gave our staff some great leads. So I really appreciate it.
But the weapon is believed to be a handgun, correct? Automatic or revolver?
Yes. Yes.
It is a handgun.
Yes, a handgun.
So will you be looking, aside from SouthWest and Tarboro, North Edgecombe, the other schools in the area, or increasing countywide?
Safety protocol is going to be safety protocol. You know, when things like this happen, it gets us better. And I think in law enforcement, we ask for the resources that we need. And I think just having these conversations with the Edgecombe County Public Schools, having these conversations with my staff and other law enforcement, it's going to get us better because it's personal. It was personal before, but it's extremely personal now that somebody would attempt this and so many innocent people were standing around. So this is personal to us right now. So yes, this safety protocol, we've discussed middle schools, middle school games, JV games. So we discussed that in full length today. And so it's just something we cannot continue to allow funding and money sometimes to be a stumbling block to make sure safety is in place. So thank you for that question.
So who approves the security plan for these games? Is it the sheriff's office or the school system?
Well, I can tell you this. moving forward, it's gonna be from the sheriff on down to answer your question.
Okay, so this one was approved by the school system.
Well, moving forward,
Okay,
the sheriff is gonna approve all safety assignments from here on out. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Can you clarify one thing for me, just to make sure? Is the young man who was wounded, is he a student, and if so, at what school? And the young lady, is she a student, and if so, what school? And do you have an idea whether the suspect, I don't know if you want to say his age, is a student, and if so, what school?
Well, I cannot provide that information, but what I will say, the shooter is not a student in the Edgecombe campus.
Asking you questions about security at their schools?
Of course, I think the biggest thing when I get requests from other sheriffs and chiefs is support. Because at the end of the day, this can happen anywhere in America.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, this time it happened on our grounds in Edgecombe County. So yes, different sheriffs and chiefs have been calling me, supporting our leadership and also having these tough conversations of what do you think happened, so they can go into preventive measures as well. Any other questions?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
most dancing, I videoed the games. I was at the game. So my question is, was the superintendent or anyone from the school system invited to this meeting? Because I've gotten a lot of calls, and a lot of stuff, and we need to hear from them. I graduated from there. My children graduated from there. Like I said, I've been videoing the games since the 90s. So my concern is, where was the superintendent or the school board invited to this meeting?
Yes, sir. The school board wasn't, but superintendent was. But we've been in talks, we've been in meetings, but the invitation was open.
And my
To stand
last,
on our side, left or right.
my last question. You say you all going to meet again.
Mhm.
Will you all have a community meeting where it sounds like you all might just be meeting, but would that meeting be open to the public? Because the public needs to be informed and be able to ask questions.
I think that is a good request, Mr. Dancy. I have no issue with opening it up to the public. I think this is outstanding. This is something I've sit down with my team and we'll talk about it. But I think your request is really, really simple. That if we can meet at a location and have open discussion, because we need to hear what the public has to say and the community has to say, because we serve the public. So yes, and serve our community. So we need to hear what they got to say, and they need to hear what we have to say moving forward. So yes, I think we can make that happen.
And I said the last time, but I want to commend you guys. I was there, last one to leave out the bleachers, in the parking lot. I want to commend you all and the rescue, because I haven't heard anything about rescue. They played a major role too. So I probably want the rescue and you guys. Thank you.
I have
Yes,
one
sir.
final question. It's been a heavy couple of weeks, and I
Yes.
think that all eyes are, on the topic of guns right now. I would like to ask you to kind of put this in perspective of a larger backdrop here. Do you see this being an issue that we need to target in the county and then kind of in general?
You know, there are a lot of gun control laws on the table. And people ask me all the time, how do these babies and these children continue to get their hands on weapons? And the fact of the matter is, sometimes we just don't know. We do all we can to remove guns off the street. We do all we can to stop cars and search warrants and law enforcement. We need the community to help us out. This is a cry for the community. This is a cry for our faith-based community. This is a cry for parents to be parents. This is a war cry that we need help. We need help because some of these children are looking for direction and they're not getting it. And so therefore, we are that wall. We are that protection in Edgecombe County and surrounding counties. So this is a bigger war that we're fighting. I prayed and prayed every night that this would never happen under my watch. But then I understand that God has laid it before me so we can handle it. So I get it. I understand. But at the end of the day, this is a bigger issue with gun control. This is a bigger issue with who's raising these children or who's not raising these children. This is a bigger issue that the school system got to be in this conversation. The men and fraternities and ladies and sororities, the city councils, the commissioners, everybody's got to be at the table to make sure we have the proper resources to not make sure this happens again.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I have to say thank you for the transparency and keeping everybody informed. And after everything happened, you posted right on social media, so that dispels rumors and
Yes.
this and the other. And we really appreciate that as the public and media.
And I thank you for that because, at the end of the day, something says you want to sit silently, but then something says you can't. And when you're in law enforcement in the capacity that we're in, transparency is what we stand on. And that's what we stand on here, the Edgecombe Sheriff's Office. We stand on that. We stand on that rock. God is our rock. But we want to be as transparent as possible because we know people will start coming up with their own things, and we want to give you guys facts. And so we're going to continue to keep you guys updated. As we find out more information, as we get somebody in custody, we're going to make sure that you guys know as soon as possible. We have all you guys contact with Major Meese. We're going to make sure you guys get it before anybody else gets it, okay? Yes, sir.
Wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask it. Do you think there is any kind of gang-related link or maybe an illegal drug-related link or money, or do you all think it's just people upset at each other? What's your hunch?
We don't know at this time, but as my partner say across the Nash County line, gangs, guns, and drugs is a dangerous mix. What we had in our mix Friday night was guns, and that's a dangerous. That's dangerous in itself. So we're gonna combat that as much as we can. So we don't know the answer to your question. We don't know what that motive was until we get somebody in custody. All we do know is I do understand that young people do not know how to handle conflict. They do not know how to handle conflict unless they're trying to decide with a gun that this has to stop. And that is the plea.
So conflict resolution is definitely part of this conversation.
I think it needs to be a major subject in middle schools, elementary schools, and high schools. Conflict resolution. We've got to start somewhere.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, then, the press conference. However, I want to go on record and say, as I've been looking at the news the last couple of days, I have only seen white families, being interviewed by papers. Not by the papers.
Anybody want a copy of this vote?
That came up in
Yes,
Ward
please.
4.
I want to see
Bronson Williams brought that up.
all of
That
these,
they don't teach care.
I'll be out of here. You can mind running it out.
all, interviewing folk in the community. Keep that in mind. All right, thank you.